Ding. Exactly centered.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
There we go. Hey, Jennifer. How you doing? Anna, how are you? Just sipping my water.
Hey, Celine, Cheryl, Laura, Carrie, Jim. It's nice because I can actually. Rhonda, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Patricia. Happy Monday. Hey, Luann.
And wait to see if Chris starts any kind of conversation.
No, I'm not. I'm purposely not, just to be a stinker, because I know it's what you're doing.
Just to be a stinker?
Because I am. Hi, Marie.
Like you've ever started the program?
Well, let's talk about Saturday. How's that? About the mind. Let's talk about it. I've had a really good time in the mine on Saturday.
Hey, Deb.
It was pretty active and really interesting as far as the very first group that I got in there. I had an experiment we're doing, and 3 people were blindfolded and had a headset on their ears, and the rest of the group were off on the other side. And 3 of the people in the headset hollered out at the exact same time, and it was freaky, "Help me," really loud. And as soon as they got done saying it, a voice from further up the mine in a woman's voice said, "Help me." And we literally had to stop everything we're doing and go chase that down. I mean, it's always active in the mine and never disappoints, but out of the gate that quick with people. It's usually when I'm by myself something happens, but people were there. And we also got I asked an officer that was there if there's any record of this, but Peter asked the question of, which I never would have thought to have done in a million years, were there any prostitutes in here? And a voice came back, a male voice, said yes. And they asked how many, and it came back as 3. And they said that there are no record of it, but it's a possibility in the 16 and 1700s that did happen.
In the mine?
Yeah.
I highly doubt that. Hello, Lorraine, Robin, Cindy. How's everyone doing?
Who's your buddy in the administrative building? That scary guy?
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. How are you? So that's it? That's all you got?
No, it's just that was one right at the beginning starting that just really blew my mind. That here, 3 individuals hollered out, "Help me," at the same time, and didn't, and they were blindfolded and they had headsets on. They didn't know what the other one was going to say. And
you got to get rid of that guy.
He's talking about a Confederate soldier?
No, that guy.
He's not on mine.
Yes.
You have the tremendous attraction. Okay.
Yeah, we got to get rid of somebody. If you see anybody, I know every now and then there's people that come in after we do the lives and they kind of reply to people's comments. And there he is again. Send me a friend request if you want a private reading and blah, blah, blah. So, when that happens, you can send me a message through the page and I'll get rid of them and I'll ban them. So, but you got to let me know. I mean, if we don't see it when it's happening, usually they do it after.
Yeah, and sometimes comments come up so fast and they go by. So, but he's been now.
Wednesday morning, doing a whole watch again, too. It was great last time. Glad I caught you. Hey, Nancy. Have fun. Have fun in Salem. So, yeah, it was a good time. The mine is always a good time. Sometimes the energy doesn't always kind of sustain itself throughout the whole time we're there. Sometimes it's on and off. So again, I do believe it depends on the energy in the group. I've said that all along. The people that are there, I hit on a little gem this time in the office downstairs where people get chased out of there. And hey, Brett, when I put men alone in that room and I observed them via camera from a different area, things would happen. and we were able to monitor them, but they were alone in that room, and things would react and things would go off. And it was really, really cool because the first one to do that, Cheryl, I don't know if you're watching, but Mike, Cheryl's husband, was the first one to have kind of interaction in there. And then I'm like, hey, let's try that again. And we did try it with, what's up, Tommy? With male, females, and both, and only the males. When the guys were in that room, especially Doug, Bjorn Ironside, when Doug was in there, he's a big guy, burly guy, beard, looked like he could have worked in that mine every day. Hey, Colette, when Karen, when he was in that room, he got a lot of stuff going on in that room. So that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that place so much. Oh, there's Cheryl. Either likes Mike a lot or doesn't like him. I think that's most people, right, Cheryl? I mean, with Mike, let's be honest here. I'm kidding. I like Mike, but it again. We've been going there for years now. There's Caitlin. Caitlin, I was just talking about BR9 inside. Doug. Um, we've been going there for years now, and I just one of those places where I can never ever ever get tired of ever.
No.
It's just, and I don't even get to go in the mine that much. The last time I really got to investigate the mine is when we had friends up, and we got to go in there and actually investigate it, and I had a great time then as well. He was there. Nicole Nikki Williams. She's got three names now. Um, Nicole was one of the people there, and when she left, her voice came through after her group left. So I don't know if there was something to that as well. But I enjoy, just like you enjoy, just like everybody that's part of New Jersey Paranormal. We do enjoy kind of being on both sides, as far as being the quote unquote investigators and doing that with people, with a group, and also observing what happens with every group.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun for us, believe it or not. I do anyway. I get to have a front seat at all these different people coming through, a front row seat, and see what the spirits, how they react the whole entire time throughout the night. And I like that because, again, I'm a researcher, investigator, and I like having a front row seat and seeing the who's and the whys and the
what's going to get that. Let's again
hey, Heather was there as well.
The other experiment that I
Brian
do.
Murray, how are you, my
Hey,
friend?
Brian. The other experiment that I do where I isolate, I changed it up a little bit, and I had like 2 to 3 people.
Wait, can I stop you with that? Because Cheryl just brought that up. Cheryl was in one area downstairs. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's all right.
Mike was in another, and they were separated from each other. And we were doing an EVP session where they were isolated down there, and everybody else was somewhere else. And afterwards, Cheryl said, I heard a male voice say, I'm right here. And she thought it was Mike from the other room. And Mike was like, I wasn't talking. I knew they were running recorders.
It was them.
And she heard it.
Ooh.
Pretty cool.
So saying something like that, I'll tell you another funny that happened before we got going with the people there. I was inside the mine doing a setup. I hate being alone in the mine. I'm going to just be very honest about that. And Tyler, that works at the mine, one of the tour guides, he actually was nice enough to come in and carry the stuff in. And he actually went up through the mine and was actually putting the lights in for me that I put out there. And literally, I think a storm's picking up.
You hear that wind? That wind is
a storm just all of a sudden started. So if you
Yeah.
hear something, it's outside. But I can see the wind blowing from outside.
It's going
and
crazy out there.
So, anyways, I had to go set up my tent way up in the mine, and at that point, another tour guide had come in, just checking to make sure everything was okay. And I had the 2 tour guides stay there and test out the sound and make sure that the volume was up on the thing and they could hear my system working. So they both were sitting there, and I was all the way up to the other end of the mine, and all of a sudden I heard 2 male voices talking. I just assumed that it was them talking down at the other end, confirming back and forth. And when I finally got back to there, they were, and I heard some stuff, and I decided just to get out of Dodge and get right back there as fast as I could. Uh, I asked them, did they hear anything? And they go, yeah, we heard you talking up at the end of the mine. I said, okay, I know that people think I'm a little wacky, but I did not talk to myself up to going up to the mine. As I was more concentrating on where the light switch was, where I need to get to. And I said, so you guys were talking here because I heard you. And they both go, no, we never said a word. We were just sitting here with the headphones on and just listening because we were fascinated by what was coming through. And I'm like, so they heard a female talking, and I heard two men talking. So it was kind of bizarre that that was happening at the same time for both of us. It was like something was playing with us. Like, I'm going to mess with you over here, and I'm going to mess with her up there.
And you just never know. That's the thing. That's why it's cool when we're able to do the ghost hunts there, and we're even able to do the ghost walk there. Even though the ghost walk is only an hour and a half, you'd be surprised what has happened in that hour and a half last year when we did it.
Whistling
Again, can't
voices.
guarantee it, but man, there were a few times where stuff was going on, and it was really cool, and you just don't know. I mean, they're everywhere. They work there every day. The mine was in operation for hundreds of years. 1600s is when the mine first opened. Was it?
That's the first recording of the
Yeah.
1600s.
So I mean, lots of people passed away unfortunately in the mine and in that area. And
Sterling Mines is named after a lord, but he wasn't the first owner.
Energy difference.
It's true, Caitlin. You're making a perfect point of when we had more females. Like, because there was Doug was in a group with just all females, and there was definitely a trade off. I think that the chief was in a group which was all females.
Yeah.
As well, and the dimension was completely different. And then my first group was all females, and definitely we're getting some very strong interactions with the women, but not the men so much. Although that I was saying before that I put 3 of the volunteers went into the tent, and they had an experience of, and I think it was you, Caitlin, was in that group. Yeah, that's right, Kathy. You were the group with one male, but I think it was Caitlin and 2 of the other women. I can't remember if it was Caitlin involved. Yeah, where you guys felt the presence behind the tent, and then the one felt like something had brushed up on her back from the outside of the tent. When we heard back the recorder, you could hear something hit the vinyl of the tent, so it backed up, and they yelled. There was a commotion. We had to go check to make sure that they were all okay. And after that group, my last group, Joe and Tom were in a group where Joe went in the tent by himself, and he said, "Yeah, the only thing I got was that something grabbed my arm in the tent."
That's what happened to Peter in the one room that I put him in. Peter he was a magnet. He got his hand touched in the one room, and then other things were happening when he was alone downstairs. So this is what I mean about, we're kind of, in a way we're like I said, we're investigating, and but we're also kind of like you guys. It's like not watching a movie we've already seen. It's not that feeling when we're there and we're there with different people. It's like, okay, what's going to happen tonight with this group of people at different times in different areas? It really is, again, interesting for me to observe that. Even though I'm there in the moment, I'm trying to, ultimately we want people to have a good time. We want them to enjoy being with us. Hopefully they learn something, experience something. But, we're having fun too, at a lot of these places. Sterling Mine being one of them. I just, again, I don't know what's going on anywhere else. We talk about that when we go to the diner, it's one thing about the Sterling Mine events that everyone is basically the same. We leave there. We don't leave there till like 12:45. and then we drive 30 minutes or so to the Morristown Diner, the only 24-hour diner I think still in existence in New Jersey. And
It's not for the faint
if
of
you
heart.
get there at 1:30, you're lucky because there's not a lot of people there. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, when the bars let out, nothing but college kids, and it's just a murmur. They're so loud.
We're talking, just getting away from the paranormal, but we're literally sitting at the table. We did our order. We're talking in our normal voices, and all of a sudden, the rush came in, even hollering at each other at the same table. You couldn't hear.
They're drunk, but anyway, but that's always part of the Sterling. And then we don't go to bed till 4 in the morning, and we're dead the entire Sunday. But no pun intended. But the mine itself, again, all those years ago, I literally stumbled upon the Sterling Hill mine. A lot of people in Jersey had been there on class trips when they were kids.
Yeah. My kids included.
I didn't. I didn't know anything about it. I was Googling different things in New Jersey, different types of tragedy, and I came across an article that literally said, 79 people, 79 miners died over 90 years. And I was like, what? Where's this? And I'm like, Ogdenburg. And I knew Route 15 because I would go up to Sparta a lot, to a lake up there, and I would go to Stokes Forest a lot. And the mine is literally 5 minutes maybe from Stokes Forest, 10 at the most. And I'm like, boy, it's up that way. So I reached out to the director and told him who I was and what we do. And Chris and I drove up there, and we didn't really even get to tour the mine. We get to look inside of it and meet with them, and really nice people. And then the four of us, Bill let us go 3 different times. Hey, John. Bill let us go 3 different times to investigate, and we can't do it live because there's no Wi-Fi in the mine. So,
which means there's no rescue if you have a phone.
Well, it was the 4 of us that went in there, and we were just like, from 10 minutes in, we were like, Disney World for paranormal people. We were like, holy crap, would you listen to what's going on here? Voices talking, footsteps, and we literally didn't move from one location for like an hour, which is not normal for us. We just stayed there because we were like, every time we're like, let's go look over.
There's too much going on.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? And it was just, we were hooked. No, you can't use your cell phone in the mine. Don't work.
They don't work at all in the mine.
No. Heather, it was good seeing you guys. Although your friend needs to calm that stomach down before she comes next time. We're gonna kick her right out of there. That. But it was great seeing you, Heather, and I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. One of the really cool things about
I do want to make sure that Karen knows that there is reception outside of the mine, just outside. Not inside the mine itself.
But one of the really cool things that we do is that people do is that not only the comments on the page after the event's over and people say nice things, but I got a text today from someone who they were at the Attenbury event. I know, Travis, you were there as well, and they enjoyed that. They enjoyed meeting us there, so they came to one of our events, and she just texted me out of the blue and was like, we had such a great time Saturday, let us know any future events. I mean, that's
nice. That's the biggest compliment.
The most important thing to us is, because we can't guarantee paranormal activity. No one could ever, anywhere. I don't care if you're in the Dracula's castle, in Transylvania. Hey, Tina, you can't guarantee anything. All we can do is do our best. The 4 of us, the 6 of us, whoever's doing what, just do our best to try to give you guys some kind of a good time, whether it's, just by hanging out and trying and doing different things and trying different experiments, or things actually happening. But, we never have and we never would take your money lightly. It's just, that stuff, believe it or not, sits with me. If I think I didn't do all that I could, or if we had a bad event, and that's because whatever happened or didn't happen, that sits with me until the next event, where I'm like, okay, that was a little better. People had a good time, and you know, um, you know, that's important to us, and that's why we try not to raise the prices of events, all the time. You know, Deb, I believe you've been there.
That's sad.
I believe you were there hundreds of years ago, Deb. I know you. So, one of your past lives, you were probably one of the.
See, Nikki just said that she had a really good EVP session, and I heard about the EVP session that you guys had, and it was pretty cool. But this is the unique thing about doing events with us. What happens at a New Jersey Paranormal event stays at the event. If you notice, we don't post the events. We don't we don't post the evidence of, because it's an intimate. It's just us. It's our experiment. We don't, so we're not playing it over and over. It's in our moment with just the group.
Yeah, it's not like
it makes it kind of special.
It's not like we're entertainers or anything. I don't want to really compare it to it because it's a bad comparison. But it's like if you attended like a Broadway show or a concert or something like that. People filming it and streaming it. It's just like we want it to be for the people who are there. That's what our full concentration on. It isn't on us filming each other and filming you guys or any. It's just about we're all there for this amount of time. Let's go around. Let's see what we see, hear what we hear, and hopefully we'll experience something. It was our fourth time at the mine and never disappoints. Yeah. I honestly, I'm trying to think of all the events we've done there over the years and the time that we've investigated there and how many times I walked out of there going, there really wasn't anything this time. That office has let me down a time or two that I can remember, but not much more than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for as much as we do, you think that it's not always easy to get stuff. I will make you happy though. I did get when we switched groups in the middle of the mine. I was standing waiting for the group to come over, and I got dive bombed by a bat.
Put that out there.
No, it was just a tiny little rare bat. One all by itself. They're endangered species. This one, and it's tiny. You rarely get to see them. So it was kind of cool, and it was just me by myself. And I guess I was just standing in a corner somewhere where it was just like it was funny. And then that was it. Never saw it again for the rest of the night. It was just like a one and done and over with, and that was it. I hear all the time where the tour guys said that they go in there and they don't ever see them. My group with you, Chris, was so active with the headphones. There was, Heather. It was very active. There was a lot of stuff that was going in the mine that took us by surprise. They even they got whistling on a recorder.
Yeah, that's kind of common in the mine is to hear. And I imagine that's kind of how they communicate it with each other. If somebody's down the other end carrying something or whatever, instead of yelling or whatever, is a
hey Sally.
This way when they had their candles or they had their lamps and this guy that his name is Jeff Fent, and he's like one of the best spirit box builders. Try to say that 3 times fast. That there is out Tracy. There. He really, like an artist. This guy makes the best boxes, and he charges a fortune for them. And I met Jeff, and Jeff's a real good guy. I've been an admirer of his. I follow him on social media, and he's hopefully going to make me a box out of wood from the Sterling Hill mine. So it won't just be a spirit box, but it'll be made from wood from a haunted mine, which should be really cool. The mines are amazing, but it never ends. Both times are what heck.
So I have something to bring up. I was showing the different people in the different groups the nicknames of some of the miners that were in the mine, and I was telling John about it, and it seems that one of the nicknames came through in your area. Yes?
This is Chris's subtle segue. I don't know if you guys caught how.
I'm just saying. It popped in my head.
Well, now that you mentioned it, Chris, yes. Caitlin just said it. Bjorn Ironside, I believe, asked the question, a.k.a. Doug. I never would have guessed his name was Doug. I don't know why it was
He
stuck in
says
my
he's been
head.
talking about that
Adam. He
nonstop.
looks like an Adam. I don't know why, but Adam. Because if you've never seen Doug, Caitlin and Doug are married. Doug's a big guy. Doug's a stocky guy. I don't know how Doug is, but how old Doug is, but Doug's a
He looks like a Viking on one of the
he's
shows
a
that we
big
watched.
dude.
The Viking.
And
Yeah.
he, asked the question, which was the very first time anybody's ever asked that question in any event that we've ever done at the mine. He said, did you have a nickname? And EVP said, Tricky Dicky.
Now,
Which is coincidentally my nickname.
oh,
I'm kidding.
so I
Crack
think
myself up.
the thing that blew me away about that was that everybody in the groups were asking the question and saying the names. And I'm in the mine, and you're all the way over in the office across the parking lot in another section. And that answer comes out in your group. Like it says it.
Well, he asked the question.
I know he asked but I'm talking about two different locations, two different areas. It started in it started in my group with me showing the nicknames and stuff, and then so that they would have them in their minds and could ask questions, and then the question.
Taking credit for my EVP and robbing Doug of his moment. Do you hear this?
No, I'm not.
Caitlin?
I said I gave them the names. It's unique. What I'm trying to point out, none of that hogwash. I'm trying to point out how mind-boggling is that it started over here, but that we never got any. It never responded back to us. It never gave us any of the names. It never even acknowledged that we were talking about those names. But it happened in your group across the way.
Yeah.
That's
very
mind-blowing.
Cool. No, very, very cool. Again, these are the type of things that you take with you into the next one and the next one and the next one. And that's why it is always about learning. And Bjorn says it's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's why I said, for me, it never gets boring. It never gets old. Even if I've been in the building or the location for the 20th time, I still go in there with fresh eyes and the expectation that I may see something or hear something that I haven't before. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because again, look what happened to Cheryl. What was it? I'm right here. I mean, that's never happened to anybody before down there. I love that.
It is an experience you don't forget because it does stay with you. I mean, when the three women said, and I if I remember correctly, it was Heather's group. When it's all three of those women said, "Help me," and then a female voice came from up in the mine far away. A woman's voice said, "Help me," and it just echoed down through that mine. It just, you take that away with you when you leave. There's so many different things that stick with you that you just, and it's not, and I always tell people, it's not just hearing someone saying something that's not there. It's also that feeling you get when it comes at you. It's almost like for a lack of a better example, almost like an energy burst that comes at you and it just washes right by you. That's I guess the best way to describe it.
Like I said, I enjoy it as much as anybody else when I'm there, and when stuff is going on, there's nothing better. And again, you can't guarantee that or predict that anywhere or anything you do. All you can do is try to use what knowledge you have, what information you have, the equipment you have to just try to communicate. That's all you can do. That's all we're doing. I mean, there's no magic to it. It's just, it's just, and again, it's fortunate that hopefully people leave there with a good experience,
Yeah.
Hey, Kim, we're, so it's been probably a week, 2 weeks, maybe since we've been to the Creeper Gallery. So we are headed back there tomorrow night again for, there are a few new things there. I Donna and I are kind of going back and forth here and there, and I watch what she posts on her page. And somebody reached out to me today I don't know if he's watching. I can't remember. I'm horrible with names. Can't remember. Ted, I think is his name. I hope. Um, he won the Masonic hat
Okay.
in the last auction. So he reaches out to me and he's like, look, you know, I've done 2 hours of EVP session with the hat. During that time, the REN pod was kind of going off intermittently at different times for different questions. He said, could you give me any more information about the hat and where it was purchased and all that? And again, I referred him to Donna because
Right.
Donna has all that information. But again, you always wonder again when people that are purchasing these items. I know some of them follow us. You guys are,
Kathy.
yeah,
Yeah.
others, several others, and you're doing things yourself and you're trying things yourself. And again, I can only tell you what happened during 40 minutes with either me or us. That's it. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can show you. Again, you're someone different now, trying different methods and different means with a different person, trying to interact and communicate. You may get better, worse, different than I got. That's why I always caution people because even when you're in a room or a building, and someone brought this up just before, Caitlin, the difference between men and women in certain areas of the mind and in the mind buildings. It's the same with every spirit attached to or connected to anything
previously
anywhere. We're people. That's who we are. That's who they are. That's who they were. We're gonna react differently to different people, different times, different places, different situations. It's just normal. God has spoken. He's agreed. Did you hear him agree? Thank you. Paranormal Savior has spoken. So let it be written. So let it be done.
So Kathy said it took a while for them to be comfortable before they became active. That's her experience. I wonder if Celine's had the same thing. If she's tried investigating or if she's just owning them.
Thank you. I actually have a button where I cue the thunder. Keep it down there.
Keep it down.
He's agreeing with me.
I've always tried to get John to be quiet. It doesn't work.
But that's part of the interesting thing about the paranormal is that you don't ever know. And the wrath of the paranormal savior. Thank you, John.
There you go.
But that's what fascinates me the most. We're invited to go to several different places, and I'm actually, people are still emailing me about, any tickets open up for this, that, or that. And again, it stinks, but we're fortunate in that, September events are sold out, October events are sold out, November, we're working on those. December, the Hoover House, I just did the video for that last night. I finished that at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I think I did a pretty good damn job, if I may say so myself.
Did. I will give you kudos.
I love that music. But that event, again, a few people reached out already, and I told you, New Jersey Paranormal at yahoo.com, December 1st and 2nd. The Hoover House in Waynesboro, which is 20 minutes away from Gettysburg. And again, that's just going to be a good time because Gettysburg is doing their holiday thing where they light the tree. I mean, the tree's going to be already lit, but there's going to be so much going on in downtown Gettysburg during the day. And, you can go to the Waynesboro antique shop and the restaurants, and it's just going to be a good time. So those tickets are available. But again, we're fortunate in that, people do want tickets and they're gone, but also people are asking us to investigate places on top of what we're doing. And I'm the type of person who doesn't say no to anything, but I'm literally finding it really hard to go and do these things, So, the college, we're trying to schedule that. There's another college. I can't mention where, I can't mention when, but that will be something we do in the next week or two. There's believe it or not, a shop that sells mystical items that wants us to come and investigate that, and the house next door to it, which is owned by the same people. So does it sound interesting and awesome? Especially if they're seeing shadow people and all the things that are
It
going on in there.
does.
Yeah, yeah. But you
There's
know,
only so much time.
yeah, there's only so much time and there's only so much energy. I mean, it's like, you know, we're gonna hit a patch of September, October, November, December where we're going nuts. The expo is right there, you know? So it's like trying to conserve and not overdo it, but I also want to do those things. So it's a matter of figuring out how to do them and everything else. Mm-hmm. And now Donna messaged me, she texted me
Hi, Tina.
last night and was like, the Ghost of Christmas Past. How do you want to do that? When do you want to do that? At the Creeper Gallery. We used to do 3-4 events a year. Now we're only doing the one in December. And if I had to guess, I would say it'll be a Friday night in the middle of December. And that'll be limited. The way we're trying to work that out, and please don't message Donna because she'll kill me. But the way we're going to work that out is that it's probably going to be 2 hour-and-a-half sessions. So it'll be something like 6:30 to 8 to let people have time to hopefully get home and do whatever and still make it to the Creeper Gallery. And then like 8:30 to 10. So it'll be like that kind of thing. And it'll be probably 10 to 12 people. And what we'll do is what we've done before, where we'll investigate objects with you in front of you.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
People can participate. They can handle the objects. They can be in the room when the things are actually happening or not happening, whatever happens. But we've had a great time doing it. Again, for us, it's another holiday thing where we can be around Donna and celebrate the holidays with Donna, see her, you know, and hang out with you guys at the Creeper Gallery, which you guys are always watching us do what we do there. So you'll get to meet Donna. You'll get to go in the Red Room. We pick out 3 different objects for both events. So the first hour and a half will be 3, and then the next hour and a half will be 3 different. And there's going to be some dark stuff in there. You know me. I mean, I like the showstoppers. You know, I like to see a concert with some pyrotechnics and some explosions and some.
You're on your
boom. That's what I want.
You know that.
Know? Well, you're free to sit outside. I do all the work anyway. So I mean, it literally. I'm sorry. I'm talking about previous events at the Creeper Gallery, not the ones we're going to be doing in December. That could all be different. Hasn't happened yet. We'll see. Anyway, but that's coming up in mid-December. So again, lots of things coming up that people can still.
If he makes it to December.
I mean, how many times you threatened my life? On video, no less.
And they all will
so
understand
you'll be so screwed if God forbid something happens to me and there's any question saying that it wasn't an accident. Even if it wasn't you, you'll go down. Thunder things. See, I'm sending it everywhere. Actually, whatever it was here just kind of felt like it moved past. Feels like it's getting humid again.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to be doing. But I'm trying to push all the investigations, if I can, to the winter, because I like doing that. I like the winter to be. You guys watching?
So why say it?
Now, I should have a screen flash that
why
says,
do you say it?
This is important.
Warning,
New
warning.
Jersey Paranormal top secret information. I should have that flashing up on the screen for the clones.
Hello, Paul.
But I like to schedule the winter to be the live investigations. I like to not so much do events in January and February. I think we only do one in February, and it's always in Clark because we love that place, and he builds the fireplace, and it's really cool. But I like January, February, and possibly even March. We'll see. January, February specifically to be live investigations, either every weekend or every other weekend. So they'll be stacked up one on top of each other. And what we'll do is we'll do the go around. We'll include some new places. We'll do a lot of the old places, and we'll just do a round robin of
Karen, we wouldn't actually be doing events in the wintertime.
No,
we
no.
would just be doing like this,
So
where
live
you can
stream.
watch live. We'd live stream it so you could see the investigation.
Yeah, it'll be the 4 of us or more at places investigating live, and it'll be on a Saturday night as opposed to a live in-person event. It'll be us live here doing investigations at our favorite places. And again, maybe we couldn't get into the mine itself, but we could probably do a live stream of the office, the museum. You know what I mean? We could do that. And I'm sure Liberty Hall would let us back in. And I'm sure Caldwell and all these other places, Clark, would let us come in. And it's always fun to go back to these places with just us and get in there. I'm sure Centenary University too, if we asked. So I'm trying to kind of push all that to the winter time to get us together doing stuff, and to show you guys some more live investigations. Important message over. You can walk away from your
cabin fever and
walk away
the
from
winter
your
blues, so to speak, waiting for spring to come.
No, that was again, the saving grace from COVID was.
Oh yeah, this right here.
Right here. I mean, and we're gonna go back. I think the next live we do, we're gonna today. I mean, we're gonna be at the Creeper Gallery tomorrow, but when we come back, Thursday or Friday, whenever we do the next live after that, we'll talk a little about the Creeper Gallery, and then Chris and I will do an old segment that we used to do during the pandemic stuff, where we go back on the time machine and we sort through the question of the days. The old. See, I used to always post the question of the day in the morning, and then I post some kind of meme at night. And then when I saw everybody was doing it, I mean, everybody was doing it, I was like, you know what? I want to get away from doing that, because now everybody's doing their own version of a question meme or something. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just we got all these great interviews. We got all this great footage. Let's just start doing reels. I went through and cut everything, and I found
some really good ones.
Yeah, and I there's little great snippets of Jason Hawes and this one and that one, and or our investigations. So I'm like, I'll just cut a bunch of those, and I'll start doing that for a while. And I like doing that, but we would always, and Luann just said, we would just be in our living room, hopefully joining you in your living room, and we would just talk. This is what we were doing. We were interviewing people. We did a lot of interviews. We did live investigations when we could, but it was COVID. So the two of us would just sit on the couch and do what we're doing now. And we would try to have guests on, or we would just do discussions, or I would go through the questions of the day, even though I knew every one of her answers.
No, we didn't. I surprised him a few times.
Ever.
He thinks he knows me. He don't know diddly squat.
Remember, there was a place where that was not only where you could buy a spirit, you could buy a succubus. Yes. You could buy like your own sex spirit.
Yes.
That was that guy I'd like to interview. If I could dig up that archive.
I actually think it was a woman that was doing it.
Or overseas. Whoever it was. I would love to interview that person, because but I love doing interviews
let alone how much their sales were. And how do you do that? How do you sell?
If people believe it, you can sell anything.
Oh, Lord help me.
Nympho spirits.
Yeah.
That's basically what they were.
That's exactly what they were advertising on there. There was and I'm not kidding, because when I brought it to John's attention, we did a whole show about it, there was literally a list of what you could purchase of types of spirits.
There was a menu. You could order a different type of sex type of spirit.
Nymphos, prankster. I mean, it was just anything and everything that you could think of as a spirit that.
I don't think, Kathy, it's not real. I mean, they're snake oil salesmen. I mean, it's,
Oh, imagine getting an empty box.
Believe me, I ordered 3 and nothing. Believe me, didn't pick up, not even possession. I was hoping for at least possession, where it would.
I knew you were kidding.
Where it would affect something, That's what I was hoping for. I was saying even if it wasn't, maybe they attach and something.
No, I how long ago we had done a big discussion. Boy, that was a hot discussion, man. That was something else. Oof.
But yeah, the COVID days were strange days for get them at the table. I'm sure John McGinnis, I have no doubt that you would be at that table. No doubt. With that exciting look you had on at the
there'll be a line 3 to 4 hours, 5 hours long.
Chris probably gets your sense of humor because it's similar to her own. So, but yeah, those days, Deb said that those lives were much appreciated back then. Now, not so much, she said. I don't know why it's so clean. Not so great. But hey, man, I try. Again, I love the interviews. I love doing them. I try to book as many people as I can. Chris got one under her belt, though. We'll never forget the one.
I would never want to take your shine.
That Chris did for Madam, which is her one interview. That although she was gung ho tonight, she set up all this here that's in front of us, so she's getting better.
Do I need?
We love the interviews. I love the interviews too, Patricia, because because I set them up.
Deb said she did not. What did Deb say she did not? I did not.
I know I'm joking about her not appreciating the lives we do now. I like the interviews too. To be honest with you, I enjoy interviewing as much as I enjoy investigating at this point. I said that on my personal page because you never know what people are going to say. You never know what
We've been very fortunate with the people that have come on and been very open and very natural and human on those interviews too. You know? Why are you looking
fortunate
like that?
Indeed. See the appreciation? Fortunate. Like they just all of a sudden clicked in and here they were.
No, I meant that they were open, that they talked openly, that they shared. You don't think I researched
these people?
I didn't. I'm not.
I don't know.
John, it's. Oh my God, dude. I'm just saying. I'm not meaning your research and you bringing them on. I'm talking about it. You can have people on, but the fact that they were very open and so willing to share like they did, and they were, usually there's a facade or somebody has a mask on and they give patented answers.
Well, it's about the interview as well.
Of course
we were talking about the other day how stale some people interview was.
Yes.
It's the usual.
Yes.
What's your favorite place? What's your favorite place you've ever been?
Cool. Cool. Awesome.
I mean, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, people want to hear that, I guess, but it's like shouldn't go on for 20 minutes.
No, we like to come out of the box a little bit with different stuff. Yeah, there's certain things that people
interview
want
UFO. Yeah, we actually know somebody. We know a father and son who are really into aliens and UFOs and all that stuff. That I'm sure if I reach out to them after this, I can get them on.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested in that stuff. I really am. I'm more interested in that than I am the Bigfoot stuff. But I enjoyed the Bigfoot stuff, even though I didn't believe any of it.
No, he was a good. He was good though.
I like Mike a lot.
I liked his arguments and his pushback and his statements that he made on that interview too. I like that.
I mean, Mike's a good guy and really is passionate about what he does. But
I thought when Deb said about the call, and she put it on here, I thought she was joking. And then come to find out, it was really a real call that they do, which blew my mind.
Jersey Devil is such horseshit. Again, it's based on an urban legend. I mean, maybe there was a Leeds kid that was deformed when he was born, but it's trends. Over the years, it's become this thing that is just. I think it's cool. I have a Jersey Devil T-shirt, and I would read a lot of that stuff and look it up, and but no way. Again, we're so different in who we are, the four of us, which is why, again, it works collectively, who we are and what we do. But believe me, when Tanya goes on and on about her Weird New Jersey stuff, and I love Weird New Jersey, and I I think a lot of it is folklore and urban legends and all that other stuff. But I love the magazine. I love the guys who created the magazine. But man, that crazy girl had us on a road trip. I think it was 2 Saturdays, 2 different Saturdays, going to all these weird New Jersey places looking for a pig lady and
The
all this
crazy
stuff. And
bridge
I'm
at
just like,
Knox.
what the hell are
Yeah.
we doing? What are we doing? But I did it because everybody else seemed to want to do it. And this Devil's Tree. Have you heard of Devil's Tree in New Jersey? Another piece of fabrication.
We
urban
were, we
legend.
were, we weren't, we didn't get anything by the tree. It wasn't, that type. But boy, were we entertained by the people
Oh, the
who
people
showed
that were
up.
coming around.
That was so worth the trip.
One
that
guy
night.
actually humped the tree.
No, sir, he did.
He did. He humped the tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you can't make this stuff up. They young guys came by and they were touching the tree. Pig lady, come on. Come on. Pig lady's real, I'm sure. I'm sure Pig lady's real. I'm sure she is. Her name is Miss Piggy, by the way, the pig lady. She is real. I've seen her with Kermit the Frog and an animal and all the rest. She's very real, Nicole.
I love road trips.
But no, I mean, I didn't mind doing it, but it was for fun. Like when I was younger, where you do that stuff for fun, the urban legend stuff.
Yeah.
I think Ghost Adventures did a show where they debunked like one of those how the car rolled downhill for no reason, or gravity type of thing, and the handprints appeared on the windows, and it was all about dirty window. That's another Shades of Death Row, Ghost Lake. I love it. Yeah, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. We went to
Hi, John.
Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Like I said, 2 weeks in a row. My daughter really likes it and likes going there. And yeah, sure, Brian. They all hang out together and play poker together, like those dogs playing poker paintings that they used to have. The Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, the Pig Lady. They're all playing poker.
Somebody's gonna now market that. There's gonna be T-shirts with that depiction, just like what you just said.
But we went to the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. It was beautiful. Beautiful cemetery, dates back to the 1600s. And, my daughter's funny because, she has access to any building anytime she ever wants with me. And she's into the paranormal. My son, no way. He would never, ever, ever go into any building, or he's not into the whole thing at all. But my daughter's really into it. And again, any weekend or any day she wanted to, I would take her into any building. But the cemetery, first time we go there, we just looked around, took pictures. Second time, she's like, "Could you bring your recorder and some ghost hunting stuff?" And I'm like, I really don't like doing that in cemeteries. I just really not my thing, anymore. I did it when we first started because I couldn't get into any other building. And but she's like, could you just bring something? And I'm like, fine. Bring a recorder. I brought a speaker, and I brought a lantern, which it's in Sleepy Hollow, and hence the name Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Not the sharpest.
Don't pay attention to Luann.
But but so we go out there, and of course my daughter is doing her research, and she finds not one, but two headstones that belong to axe murderers who murdered their whole family. Not one, two. So of course, this is where she wants to do the EVP sessions and the EMF thing. So we were there, and again, you're walking around. I wasn't going to bring all my equipment because I didn't want to look like a ghoul, and I didn't want to get thrown out of there. So I had the recorder in my pocket, speaker in my pocket, and we're walking around. We get to the first set of headstones, and this guy killed his wife with an axe, killed his kids. So we're there, and it's a very popular tourist town. People walking around. So we had to wait till everybody was gone, and then the lawnmowers start. And I'm like, we're not going to be able to do this. We're just not going to be able to do this, So we did. I think we got in one session, and we did get a voice. It was. I make fun of these all the time because these recorders that people love that are and I hope Robert from Bearfort isn't watching. They're like $3,000, and they're Panasonic, and they use them for like Ghost Adventures and all these shows. And because the light goes on when supposedly they hear sound,
I don't.
I've heard these things many, many times, and the voices are really clear. So it's and yet they're like, I hear Sally went to the store for eggs. It's so clear. So, and I'm like, to who? So that's what it kind of sounded like. I put the recorder on the headstone, and the guy was kind of talking in a real breathy, gravelly,
Raspy, yeah.
yeah, thing. And we were able to make out one EVP, but the rest was kind of. But
You told us to stop it.
yeah, that's what it was.
Stop it.
Yeah. So they loved it. They were like, "Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. You're right about that, Michael. 100% right." And so then they wanted to go to a few other places. Now we found the other axe murderer. And thank God. I know they wanted to do it, and I know they were looking forward to it. But we literally get out of the car, and we're walking over to the next axe murderer and his family. And another family pulls up, and they're in the area looking at the headstones. And they're blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, thank God. You know, so we didn't do another EVP session. But I appreciate it. I really don't like doing that in cemeteries. I don't begrudge anybody doing it. I really don't. If that's how you want to get started and try doing EVPs and asking questions and walking around, just be respectful, of course. And like I said, I'm not against anybody else doing it. If you did it at my mother's grave, if my mother had a headstone and I walked by, I'd probably kill you, even though I'm in the field and I do this.
This is what you're talking about. Have sensitivity, have regard, have empathy, and understand that these are somebody else's last resting.
That's why
there's some touchy situations.
That's why I wouldn't do it necessarily, but again, I don't begrudge anybody else doing it. I really don't, because I did it at one time, and I just did it again a couple of weeks ago. But again, for me personally, I don't know. Again, if it was my mom's, I know Dalen does that on his YouTubes. But again, if it was my mom's headstone and I walked up and I saw people doing that, lots of people say, "Oh, I'd ask what they got," or I'd join in. I wouldn't join in. I'd say, "Get the F away from my mother's headstone."
When you're emotionally,
before I kill you.
Yeah, when you're emotionally,
I know I would say that.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah.
But
we all have different levels of.
I do get it, but if you do it, be respectful. But again, we all got to start somewhere, and we all want to practice doing EVPs. People go out on the battlefield all the time in Gettysburg, and those were people's families and great grandfathers or great whatever. I get it. Believe me. I'm just saying, me personally, I just won't do it anymore. You know.
But having said that, the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery is got some of the most beautiful artwork that I've ever seen in a cemetery.
Mausoleums.
Crazy. If you look in between the grates and you look in and you can see the different things that they have in there. The MGM mausoleum, you look in and you see the portrait of him and her, and what's sitting in there. The headstones that are just stunning. His daughter pretty much had us on a scavenger hunt for the different ones that she found that she wanted to go get pictures of that were absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, they're
gorgeous.
I gotta tell them about the one. Speaking of urban legend, there's one. It's a bronze lady. She's sitting in a chair directly across, looking at a mausoleum. And I guess her and her husband are buried in there, I think. And the urban legend about that particular one, Sarah, my daughter, found this on the internet, was that if you peek in the keyhole, because the keyhole is kind of punched out, if you look in the keyhole, you'll be cursed. And of course, what's the first thing my daughter did? Whoop, right there. And then my son-in-law. So of course, because they did it, I had to. I'm not going to be a chicken, ever.
I didn't look. I don't tempt fate.
I'm not Yella.
So now you call me Yella? Yella?
If the yellow foot.
First of all,
if the yellow shoe
I know
fits,
how to temper temptation. Obviously, you
if
don't
the yellow
have that
shoe
ability.
Fits, you're yellow.
You know, that doesn't. It's called not tempting fate. I wasn't so curious that I had to look in there and test that theory. I'm quite okay. If somebody says, there's sharks in the water. I don't need to go in the water to find out. I'm going to say, yep, thanks for the info. We'll give it a pass.
See, I would have peeked too.
Deb,
right
you're
there
just like
me.
you when
Thank
it comes
Deb.
to this stuff.
You're not yelling. Deb, I know you're not yelling.
So, not yellow, or are y'all wackadoodles?
No, we're not yelling.
You're a wackadoodle. That's not yellow. That's being smart. Somebody has to use these little cells up here.
Deb, hear what she's talking about us?
Got to use the cells.
This is a weird question, but I wondered for a while, doing the investigation on water over a shipwreck over the Titanic, how would you do that? There's no sound. I mean, you'd sonic, everything's sonic. You couldn't capture EVPs or nothing like that. It would, it'd be an interesting experiment. I mean, the pressure and all that stuff. Would it be cool to investigate over a shipwreck? Yeah. I didn't read the over part. But the over, yeah, if you could kind of, that would be interesting for sure. To kind of be above that and try and see what you got. I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think a lot of people would have peeked in there. The temptation. I mean, where
Kyrie's not yellow either.
I have restraint when it comes to temptation. I can resist. That is my makeup. I'm okay with that. Brian says that him and Ann are going to the cemetery after they saw us. So you're going to love it.
It's a beautiful cemetery. It's really, it's a big cemetery. Again, to me, it's kind of Gettysburg-esque in that there's beautiful monuments and statues and
the scenery there too. Looking, you could see the what is that called? That bridge called? That was renamed the Kumo Bridge. Kumo Bridge, the Kumo Bridge. Anyways.
Governor, we all heard of the famous Governor
Kuma. I make this guy laugh all the time without even trying. But
Mario Kuma, I believe
you stand up on top there, and you can look over, and you're standing next to a mausoleum, and then right over there's the bridge that looks over the mountains, and then from the other side, you can stand over by the edge and look over, and you can see the water and the mountains off to the side. I mean, the trees. I have such stunning picture of these massive trees.
Lighthouse is right there too.
The lighthouse.
And if you drive over the bridge, say Kuma 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 Camellia. You sing that while you're driving. It's on usually the radio comes on. There's Kuma Chameleon. We were making jokes about that bridge because there's all these phones in case of emergency, and they're literally what? 30 feet apart, maybe 50 feet apart.
They're on the inside and outside.
Yeah, one end of the bridge to the other. They're like throughout, and I guess people were to break down or.
Well, they don't say emergency. They say suicide.
Oh yeah, no, there's suicide prevention signs near each one of them,
and the number to call to talk to somebody.
It used to be.
The Happen Z Bridge.
It used to be.
Yeah, they are for jumpers. Yeah. That's crazy.
Anyway, we'll be at the Creeper Gallery tomorrow, probably starting at 8 o'clock. So tune in tomorrow. 3 new haunted objects we'll be investigating. Never know what could happen. Haven't been back there in a while, so it's been a week or two. Seems like a while.
Yeah.
But we'll be back and watch live. We'll be here. All right, guys.
Good night. Stay safe. Be healthy. And please be kind to your fellow man.